All right. The Today newspaper says this morning, more rot and cavett at Metro Mass Transit Limited. And MMDC's election slated for 2021. And release of police frozen account. Court has ordered Yoko. Those are the stories on the Today newspaper. The BNFT says no Dutch disease Oforiata is talking there, even as oil crowds out agri sector. The Daily Guide stays on this staff at the presidency and says Mahama staff list hits 897. Opuni story is also captured. Opuni regains frozen accounts. Daily Graphic says that we will deal with piracy. President declares in second day. SNIT is reported to have made gains in 2017, and government earmarks 50 million cedis for burdened businesses. The Ghanaian Times stays on this issue of the drones. It says that drones to deliver blood supplies, medicines to remote areas from September. That's the vice president talking there. A photograph of a former vice chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ivan Adai-Mensah, says that let's dialogue on free senior high school. The Daily Statesman says Jubilee House staff controversies, NPP reduces expenditure by 50%. Mustafa Ahmed is the information minister. His photograph is here. We'll talk about that. And then the Finder also doing that story, healthcare goes high tech. Drones to deliver essential medicine from September, says the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia. Those are some of the newspapers I have with me this morning. My guest to do the talking, Deputy Communications Director of the NDC, Fred Agbonyo, is here. Fred, good morning.
Good morning, Bright.
Hope you're doing great.
Well, by the grace of God, abandoned me. You don't have to check on me again.
We haven't abandoned you. We know you're fine. Once we organizing your your branch elections, we thought you were busy.
Yeah,
we hope everything is fine.
The whole of last week, I was in from Central Region, Western, Ashanti, B, Upper East, Upper West, Northern Region. And so far, by the grace of God, everything is going on very well. You know, we clamors at all with the demonstration in Tamale against this U.S.-Ghana agreement, the military base they want to establish over here. And the people pour out in their numbers to protest against the agreement the government wanted to sign. And I think that it's a very triumph call that the people are making on the government, and the government will yield to the call to benefit this country and to benefit the government itself.
The minority hopes these protests will really achieve something?
Well, it's achieving something. I think that's all over the place. CNN is picking it up, BBC is picking it up, the international community is talking about it. America, they themselves are talking about it. And Ghanaians are getting aware of the agreement we are entering into and the effect it has on our country. And so for us, we'll continue to demonstrate, we'll continue to communicate to the people, we'll continue to reach out to the Ghanaian community as to why this particular agreement is not in the interest of this country, and for which we must instill that our government reverse it. If the government refuses to pay attention, very soon elections will come 2020, and I'm sure when NDC comes to the office, one of the first things we'll do is to quickly make sure we notify them so we can quickly terminate this particular agreement, because we believe it is not in the interest of this country.
Okay, grateful there, but let's first touch on the Daily Guide story. Ghana to use drone in medicine delivery. Also, government pays NHIS Ghana 1 billion Ghana cedis. That's the story. Now, Ghana will soon join the likes of Malawi and Rwanda in the provision of blood supply and essential medicines in remote areas using drone technology. Now, this follows government initiatives to ensure Ghana attains universal health coverage through strengthening health systems, increasing healthcare personnel, and using innovation to reach those remote areas. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, who announced this at the 2018 Health Summit in Accra, said government will see the innovative idea already being implemented in 2 African countries, replicated in Ghana. I am glad to report that Ghana, I think, this week will be signing an MOU, and by the middle of this year, or maybe September, will join Malawi and Rwanda in using drone technology to deliver blood supply and essential medicines. So we are going to do this. That's the Vice President there talking on that story on the Daily Guide. Let me introduce my second guest, John Kumar, has just joined us. John, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Hope you're doing great. How did the elections go, the regional elections?
Oh, I think it went very well. At the end of the day, NPP is the winner. And I want to congratulate all the winners, as well as those who lost honorably. Of course, it only means it's not your time, so you have to keep serving in good faith, and at the right time, the party will reward you. I think if you look at the results, all those who won deservedly, and I think we should expect them to do better and make sure that the power that Ghanaians entrusted into the hands of the NPP is maintained going forward.
Grateful. Welcome once again. John Kumar is the Chief Executive of the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program. Grateful. He's the Chief Executive of that program.
Change the name once again. You know, it's another particular institution. We call it
I see. Okay. It's usual, not the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program.
Change the name so they can take some credit.
I see.
You like changing
I'm
names.
sure John is not ready to react to what you said. He said he won't mind. Okay. Let's start from here. Okay. Let's begin the conversation from here. The Vice President has been talking about moving our healthcare system a step, a notch higher. How to reach areas are the receiving end. Medicines don't get there, supplies aren't there, and the pregnant women, young ones, go through ordeals in order to get these medicines. Now we are to use technology. John, let me start the conversation. This is commendable. I'm not too sure if you have the finer details, but certainly this is a system that will improve on what we've been doing in terms of protecting our people, providing quality health care to them.
Exactly. And I'm very happy at the attempt that government is making to incorporate technology to improve health care delivery in the country. Because we are aware how some rules are so bad, and it's even difficult to post doctors and nurses to certain areas of the country. And we are told that with the use of drones, we'll be able to send certain medical equipments and medicines to those facilities without necessarily having to use the roads. So, but it will require that we do digital mapping to make sure that all those places are well captured before the drones could do the delivery. And so gradually the country is moving towards digitization, which is very good in terms of results. It helps to improve efficiency and performance in all sectors. And we know sometimes certain people die not because of the sickness, but because they couldn't get immediate attention. And where they even got the attention, the necessary drugs and the equipment that could sustain them were not available. So all these efforts to improve healthcare delivery, especially with technology mindset, I think that's the way to go, because all over the world, technology is now dictating the pace in everything that we do. Right from even taxi now turning Uber all over the world. You can sit in one country and control transport systems in another country. So I'm happy that as a country we are taking advantage of the opportunities that technology offers us. And I hope that we'll be able to train more people to understand the process, and even our doctors and nurses to accept the new ways of, improving our healthcare delivery. And sometimes the society itself also become resistant to change. So we must also educate people to understand that the world is moving on, and we must all find a way to embrace the new development, the new enhanced way of working, and so that we can have better results for our people.
But that doesn't mean, I guess, that government isn't paying attention to other challenges in the health sector. I mean, in terms of road infrastructure leading to health centers, and perhaps resourcing all these facilities and putting them in good shape.
Definitely. I mean, the good news today is that the debt in the NHIS, about 1 billion of them is reported to be paid at the moment. So that should tell you that government is focused on improving healthcare delivery, and of course improving on access to roads as well. But you cannot do all at the same time, so you have to look at other immediate short-gap measures you can take. And I think that this new technology-based delivery will help to immediately, give relief to some of these health centers that we have in the country. But government is well focused on improving on facilities and infrastructure in the health sector.
I'm grateful. Fred, do you see this? John says that it tells you how government remains focused on improving health delivery in the country. Now, the use of drones, for instance, is expected to improve what we do. Is that what you see?
Well, Brad, let me say good morning to your sheriff viewers, yourself and my good friend I've known
for a while.
Yeah, for a very long while now. I think that healthy people is a healthy society. Every effort to modernize and bring technology to bear on our healthcare system is something all of us must embrace and make sure that we do it to the very best of our ability. And so if the drone system that is used in other jurisdictions is something that we can introduce in this country so we can extend healthcare to deprived communities, I think it will not be a bad thing. Government can consider doing a thing like that. But I think that if you look at this country and the way the country is structured, where the district capitals are, vis-a-vis the closeness to the communities, what we should be focusing attention on really is road infrastructure. If we can fix our roads, it should be possible for vehicles to move to whatever community it is, within the shortest possible time and attend to the health needs of the people without necessarily relying on some of this technology, because they have their own challenges as well. Some of these drones, they also use batteries. Now, if you check the average lifespan of a battery, in some cases about 25 minutes. So let's assume that this one that they're going to use, they're even going to customize, the battery that they're going to use that can last for maybe an hour. Assuming where it is flying to is over an hour. What happens, if the battery should run down? Is it going to fall down? Is it going to remain suspended in the air? Can we always rely on it? I'm sure the technical people will pay attention to all these details before they implement it. Now, Bright, there was an effort several years ago to really get healthcare to the people with the introduction of what became known as the chip compound system, where every single community was supposed to have a health post with somebody there to attend to at least grant first aid to the persons who live in those communities. If you remember that President John Dramani Mahama, even an effort was made for all appointees to sacrifice 10% of their salaries towards the construction of some of these chip compounds. The evidence is there today that if you go to some of the communities, some of the projects were completed, others are still under construction. I can only appeal to this government that they should see to that those projects that are still under construction, they quickly try and finish them up. And those that have been completed and I see sitting there, nobody's attending to it, they can't even populate it, we should look at that. I recall about 2 weeks ago, I think the health minister granted an interview, or is there a program that he organized and said that Legon Hospital is still standing there, or Tremodel Hospital is still sitting there. They've not been able to populate the hospital up to now. The machines, the equipment is there, the hospital is not working. And according to him, it is because they don't have a standby generator. And that is why the facility is still standing there and nothing's happening to it. One of your sisters, I think Joy FM also took their reporters over there. The evidence available to everybody today is that there are 2 huge standby generators at that particular facility. All the machines that you need for the phase 1 of the hospital are in place. But we don't just understand why up to now government cannot put that facility to use so that Ghanaians and people within West Africa can benefit from it. The evidence is clear. The investment that was done by the previous government in the health sector, the number of hospitals that we built. If you go to Kofi Hospital today, the eye clinic, arguably one of the best in the whole of West Africa, it is sitting right there. The expansion where they're retooling, the modern machines and equipment that were introduced to that hospital, the military hospital that we are building in the Ashanti region, work is still going on since they came. They've abandoned it. It's sitting over there. If you go to WA, we are trying to build Upper West Regional Hospital. We didn't complete before we left office. That project is still stuck over there. Government should inject the needed resources into it and make sure that they're able to complete that. I was just coming from Tamale on Sunday. We had finished the first phase of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, 400 beds. We are supposed to have a second phase of another 400 beds. As I speak to you, nothing's happened to that hospital. That hospital is still sitting over there. the Rich Hospital that we commissioned, everybody can attest to it, very modern hospital, all the equipment that you need to provide healthcare, they are in there. The number of district hospitals, regional hospitals, Upper East regional hospitals is underway. Polyclinics, about 10 of them that we started, some we have completed. The point I'm making is that, yes, it is not enough for the Vice President to continue on the promising spree. We are going to do this by September, by next week. We want to see concrete action. Areas where investment have already gone into it, money have been invested. Let us see how we are able to complete those so that the people can benefit from them. It is sad today for you to go back to Kolebu or go to 37 and still they are still 10 patients away because they don't have enough bed to admit the patient. Meanwhile, a complete hospital is sitting right here at Legon. And either to they say, oh, the ownership of the hospital is either the university manages it or the Ministry of Health. We are feeling that debate. Now the minister is telling us another thing. Meanwhile, that thing that is claiming to is in place. So I don't know exactly what the problem is, why we cannot open that particular hospital to use. If you go to the police hospital, we did huge expansion work so that we can create more beds for Ghanaians to be able to access that other facility too. So the point I'm making, that we have invested so much in the health sector. Let's see how this government is able to maintain what they've come to meet. Remember, we even introduced something we call the Niado Hospital. It's a moving ambulance. All the medical equipments and medical staff, they are in there, and they are supposed to be moved from the rural communities. So they look at the eye issues, the teeth, and all other basic problems. I don't know what has happened to that particular project.
The vehicles were acquired?
Oh, you acquired the vehicles. They were duly commissioned by President Mahama, and they were supposed to be moving to our various communities. I don't know if they are working as of now. You remember the number of ambulances that we brought into this country for emergency needs like he's talking about now. If some of the ambulances have gone, they are not working again, it is only fair and proper that we add on to the fleet or we repair those that are broken down so that people can really benefit from this. I think that where we are now, Bright, really, the everyday promise is becoming unacceptable. We want to see real action. Okay. We want to see how you perfect this so that Ghanaians can benefit from them. For me, that is what is key.
John, the issue isn't that that the government has abandoned this project. Is that the case?
Never and not at all. First of all, I want to assure every Ghanaian that whatever good projects that the NDC started, we are enjoined by the Constitution of Ghana to carry on. After all, it was not their personal monies. It is you and I, our taxes. It is our monies that were used to raise these facilities. And whether they completed them or were in the process of completing them, it is our responsibility as a new government to carry on with all the good initiatives they started and complete them and put them to good use for Ghanaians. So I don't really know what are the challenges for especially the Legon facilities. But I can assure everybody that those are.
No, as for Legon, we are told that we need a substation. I think finally that's what we need.
But the substations are there.
No, a full substation, not the gen set.
The huge two plants that are sitting there can power them. No, I don't know. We can go there and now. We can just go
Fred,
there.
What do we gain if the facility sits there in waste? I don't know what that benefits us in any way. So relax.
But the earlier agreement, John, was that who will manage the facility?
No, I mean, this has been resolved.
Then we moved away from who will manage the facility now to the claim that we don't have generators. Now we've gone there to that there are generators. Now you're talking about substation. What type of substation? Do you have any substation at Kolebu? Do you have any substation at 37?
We're told that when the Tamale Teaching Hospital was upgraded, because of the equipment there, it was given a full substation, and that because of certain equipment that will be used here, what we need to do is to put
a full substation. $200 million in putting up a facility. How much will it cost us to put up?
You let John.
I don't know why he's in a rush to see the facility. Don't be worried. We are dying not because of only this facility. We need more of this, not even this facility alone. And I mean, it is just that they are in a rush to take political points that they started. See, I'm sure maybe that's the... Yes, but otherwise, why are you in a hurry? You didn't put it to use. A new government has come. They have seen one or two things that they have to do before they put it to use. You are complaining. What should be done? You think it must be incompetently managed as you did previously when you were in government. Things must be done properly. We must not be in a rush to do things that eventually will come back to regret. I think that there's a new management in place. They think they have to do one or two adapts before we can properly put to use the facility. I don't see why we cannot be patient with them to ensure that these things are done. And I think the last time they even took another budget proposal to Parliament or so for additional funds to complete the substation so that it can be properly...
That's for the second phase.
For the second phase. Yes. So clearly, whatever it is, I don't see how it benefits you and I if we have such a good facility sitting there idle. There's a good reason why it has not been put to use. But I want to assure everybody that when all those hurdles are crossed, eventually that is going to be put to good use. But we must not rush to waste the facility because we have to be seen to be using it when all the infrastructure is not in place. So let's do the correct thing and make sure that, look, everything the NDC started with Ghana's money is for Ghana. And
so government is not uncomfortable putting to use?
Government will be very comfortable to put to use. It's not for the NDC. And whatever we are initiating will not be for NPP. And when we are not in government, we expect the NDC to carry on with our good initiative. Unlike them when they came and left all the affordable housings to lie waste, and it's now that we are putting them to proper completion and use. We will not waste Ghanaian resources. We want to make sure that every good thing the NDC started will be completed. After all, it's not for the NDC, it's for Ghana and it's for government. But where there are genuine problems, let's allow management to deal with the genuine concerns that they have raised. You may disagree, but they see that as an impediment to the immediate use of the place. But I can confirm that we are going to put that to good use, and for every Ghanaian who wants to use it to benefit. But you can't just allow it to be run down, or you rush to go in only to find out that when one, because of just maybe a substation that could have ensured constant supply of electricity and constant maintenance of certain equipment, we didn't have it, and so machines have started breaking down, or people have started dying during the processes of operations and stuff. Please, let's be patient. I know every good facility that was started on the NDC will be completed.
Right. I don't think that Ghanaians can be any patient with this particular issue. I'm surprised they're describing that as competently managed. A government that sourced for resources built an ultra-modern hospital, arguably the best in the whole of West Africa. The project was duly commissioned. As we rightly said, the project is in two phases. We had finished the phase one of the project that we can put to use. And for more than 1 year, the equipment are still over there. The hospital is there, Ghanaians are dying. And they are saying that we are in a hurry. We should not be worried about the lives of Ghanaians. Is that what you are telling me? If you get to the hospital to that, we speak to you. Some of the equipments, they are there because they need air conditioning every day. The lights are on, the air conditioners are on and locked up. Some of these equipment that we bought also have a lifespan. Some of them, we are giving a guarantee of 1 year or 2 years. And all this is more than almost 2 years now. The machines are sitting over there. Their lifespan is even deteriorating. I don't want us to talk about it. Ghanaians are dying, whereas all these facilities are there. And we say that we have been impatient. It has something to do with politics. Now, you made the point that they started affordable houses. No, he said they started affordable houses and we abandoned affordable houses. Is that where you want us to go this morning? Why? All the affordable houses that you started, go and check the way we did. The military are even occupying some of the projects today. We give some of the projects to need to complete for people to manage. We didn't just abandon them. Saglemi housing project on the Shogun Kopi Road, almost 5,000 facilities. It is sitting over there. We commissioned, we did everything. Look at even the one that we built for the Navy in Tema. It took the Navy to come out screaming and shouting before the Vice President moved in to go and commission it. So I don't know what the problem is. This thing has been built for Ghanaians to use. It's been completed. You cannot tell us that we spent over $200 million in putting out a facility, and even if a substation is not there, we cannot within 1 year put up a substation so Ghanaians can benefit from it. What is this argument that the president is making when it was outside? That they had paid some $1 million and 1 million Ghana cedis of indebtedness of national health insurance, and so everybody should be singing and praising. In 2014, we paid 1.73 million Ghana cedis as indebtedness to national health insurance. Go and check all the figures. Check how much they were paying before we came into 2009. The structure of national health insurance it is today, every government, when you leave office, there will be some debt that you leave behind eventually for the next government to come and continue. So this thing, even after that the announcement was made, we all heard the service providers. They've come out to say that they've not received any money. So who are they deceiving?
Well, the officials say that perhaps the money has not reached them and that all processes are...
So if you have released money, the money has not reached the person who needs to use the money, why do you come and scream that you have paid?
I don't know if I can take it just a little bit.
Okay,
you see,
just 1 minute and then we'll...
This is what led them to their incompetent disgrace in the last election.
So you think your government is competent?
Well, relax. Of course, their Ghanaians are seeing the difference between competence and incompetence.
You don't move around that.
When
you are all in your office. If you move around the country...
Fred,
I thought you had a good time.
Fred, you
said all the good things you want to say. Relax. You see, when it comes to governance, there is a way you govern. And especially when you are governing with public resources, you must know that there's a day of accountability. You don't rush to commission projects when you have not finished. The fact that you have painted a building, the fact that you have put air conditioning in a building, it doesn't mean that it is fit for public use. So the management that are in place are saying, from what we have done so far, we don't think we are ready to use the facility. Why are you forcing them to use the facility so that they destroy whatever you have started? There's the need to take your time. Let's respect the decisions of the money. We are paying them to do that work. If they think we are not ready, let's allow them. The important thing, and that's the assurance I'm giving, every good facility that we have put with Ghana's money will be put to use by Ghanaians. So I don't see why we should rush to do propaganda. I don't get it.
Okay. If indeed the issue is about a substation, would it take that long to put up a substation?
I'm surprised about the argument my brother is making serious.
Well, I am not a technical person.
We have spoken to technical people who have told us that everything there is set.
But Fred, why didn't you start? If the technical state, if the substation was so critical, why didn't you start the project with that?
Which substation?
You were so eager to paint.
No,
and
we
so
put 2 huge plants.
Substation is not by generators.
When we finish, take your cameras to the place. They're going to see what is there.
I don't know what they are talking about. What is the substation? I was asking John the question, but John seems to suggest that he's not a technical person.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what is important is that there are technical people in charge of that facility. I believe eventually, whatever arrangements they are doing there, is to inure to the benefit of this country.
I'm grateful. The statesman says NPP reduces expenditure. Now, talking about the Flagstaff House, Jubilee House staff issue, documents in possession of the Daily Statesman indicate that from the administration of President Kufuor through Prof. Evans Mills to John Mahama and Nanado, figures on establishment at the Jubilee House has been ranged, that's the staff, from 693 for Mr. Kufuor, 712 for Atamil, 678 for John Mahama, depending on the exigencies of government programs and its vision in addressing certain peculiar tasks. Indeed, it has further been established that the Kufuor-led government inherited some 678 employees at the Jubilee House on assumption of office in January, forming part of the figure 998. Now, interestingly, in the raging controversy over the 998 staffing figure, which is slightly above John Mahama's figure, cost to the nation and impact are poles apart in favor of the current Akufo-Addo administration in terms of projects and programs, efficiency and cost cutting. The story is suggesting that even though President Nanado's figure is 998, all the others have spent more than he has. The information minister has explained that the engagement of over 900 staffers was necessitated by the establishment of several development authorities and the creation of additional government agencies. That's the story. And they talk about some 3 billion cedis spent in 2017, and then some 1.5 billion, which ballooned to 3 billion in 2017. Yes, in 2017. And according to the story, that figure is way above what President Nanado spent in 2017. That's the story. So the numbers are huge, but we're told that the cost of looking after these officers to allow them to work is not that huge. John, this issue what is really the focus? The number or how much we're spending on them? Is really the president interested in protecting the public purse?
Exactly. I mean, when the argument started, I was a bit at a loss at what people were really aiming at. You see, it's not an argument about numbers, and let's not get it wrong. It's argument about competence and incompetence. It's argument about delivery of the expectations of the Ghanaian. Now, the NDC are claiming they did 800 staffers. What was the results? They took away teacher training allowances. They took away nursing training allowances. They brought us doomsor to the worst level we could imagine in this country. They worsened our economic plight and took us to IMF and grew the economy incompetently to the worst level in decades, 3.5%. That is the delivery of the numbers they brought to us. If it was 800, it was an incompetent 800. Now we are talking about 900 or even 1,000. That is competence. Nursing training allowance have been restored with 1,000. Teacher training allowance have been restored with 1,000. Free SHS have been introduced with 1,000. Now, one district, one factory is ongoing. We are talking about $1 million per every constituency. The development authorities have been established. What are we talking about? Ghanaians want delivery. They want to see competence. They want to see that with your 1,000 staffers, you have reduced the cost from 3 billion to 1.5. That is what Nana Addo government has done. This is what Ghanaians are expecting. It is not about numbers. In any case, Ghanaians are looking for jobs. So even if we could use 3,000 people and achieve the results of proper governance, of development, of delivery, of efficiency, and respect for the use of public office, and proper accountability, and not double salary taking. These people are not, if you use 800, and 46 of your ministers are taking double salary, which they call top-up.
The allegations.
Well, as alleged, let me just put it as alleged.
A reminder.
Yes. No, but on the issue of top-up, it's not allegation. They themselves just, instead of calling it double, they admit they received it, but it was a top-up. So, no, that is not an allegation. They have responded and called it a top-up.
It is the right thing to do.
Well, no problem. No problem. No problem. So you see their incompetence. This is what we call the incompetence. So the 10% they were paying for the chips compound, was it on their top-up or was on the was on the basic? So clearly, this is what the argument should be about. And like Professor Ade and Co have said, it's not an argument about numbers. What is in numbers? We are talking about use of public resources and governance and delivery. We have a commitment to deliver on our campaign promises to Ghanaians. Create jobs. The youth are looking for jobs.
But John, if you want to take a look at what Professor Ade said, in terms of efficiency, is efficiency not using very little to produce more?
That's your definition. And what is little? If you have a population of 29 million and you are using 1,000, is it little or many? You see, it is little in respect of the outcome. And we are telling you that somebody used 800, spent 3 billion. I am using 1,000, I'm spending 1.5.
We are yet to know how much the MPP spent from the Jubilee House in 2017.
Well, the budget, 2018 budget has been presented. What figure was stated? The figure is clearly there. And we didn't go for any supplementary budget. The actuals will come and it will, yes, of course. We didn't exceed the deficit that we stated, 6.5, has not. We reduced it actually from 9.3 of the NDC. And now we are even targeting to do 4.5 in this year. So clearly, it is not about numbers. It's about competent delivery of the pledges you have made to the people. It is about competent use of the resources of the nation to give free education to the people. If 800 people couldn't give us free education and took our allowances, and 1,000 people can restore our allowances and give us free education. If 1,000 people,
cost.
What is the cost? They have reduced the cost of the 800 by half. That is 50% savings to the state.
That's according to the information minister.
Yes. So, but you have not counted that with any other contrary information.
I don't have the figures.
So we are telling you that this argument is not about numbers. It's about competently. Do you know that Ghana's economy, just before you move on,
because of the...
No, we were talking about their incompetence.
Okay, not the numbers.
Not the numbers.
So
what is in numbers? If you have 500, yes, if you have 800 and you are taking allowances, that is too much. That is incompetence. But if you can give me 1,000 workers and make sure that you restore teacher training allowances, nursing training allowances, you are paying 1 billion debt of NHIS, you are growing the economy from 3.5, abysmal 3.5, to 9.3 in 1 year. That is display of competence.
So the economy is growing.
I mean, that's the evidence.
And you can see, apart from the figures, you can see a growing economy.
Exactly. Everybody is attesting to that. I mean, the World Bank, the IMF, everybody in the world, including this country. Now, consistently in the past 1 year, Bank of Ghana has been reducing the monetary rates. Am I lying? Consistently declining.
But the interests are so where they are.
Yes, because the banks are not responding, but gradually they are responding. Gradually they are responding. And inflation is coming down. Interest rate is stabilized. And people can confidently see. Now what we need to do is to translate all these positive economic indicators to job creation so that the young people can then find the jobs, because that is the critical thing. And that is exactly what we are doing. The Vice President has announced that from next month, under the Nation Builders Call, we are recruiting over 100,000 young graduates into the system. That is competence.
That's a stopgap measure for job creation.
There's nothing wrong having short-gap measures in development processes whilst you take your time to grow, because under the NEIP program, we have long-term measures to make sure we create jobs in the private sector. And that is where I am handling. So if in the long term you are creating jobs and in the short term you are creating jobs, there's nothing wrong. It shows you that you know exactly what you are doing, you are clear in your vision. It's not about numbers, it's about delivery. What are the expectations of the Ghanaians? Doomso has stopped. We are all evidence to the fact that Doomso is no more in this country. If 800 people brought us Doomso for almost 8 years, and 1,000 people can stop Doomso in 1 year, hooray! So it's not an argument of numbers. It's argument about competence over incompetence. The NDC, led by President Mahama, was grossly incompetent. I mean, it reflected in the last elections that we all went for. Ghanaians were vehement in their declaration of incompetence. Now, in just 1 year in office, everything is pointing to the fact that, indeed, the economy is back on track, confidence is back in the system, students are now learning free of charge. I mean, free SHS have been introduced. Allowances of students, whether teacher training or nursing training, have all been, even those they left home, the nursing trainees they left home from 2012, 2013, 2014, have all now been posted.
All of them?
Majority of them have been posted.
Sure the nurses will not be happy.
Well, but we also, no, it is just a category.
So not all of them.
But you see, if you left a backup from 2012,
yes,
and within 1 year,
but not all of them.
Well, even if it's not, let's say,
not
why? They should be happy.
Some of them.
The nurses are very happy that we have restored the allowances.
Yes, exactly.
They are very happy that from 2012 we have posted much of the backlog.
Right.
They know that we are responding to their needs. Teachers know that the allowances have been restored, so they are happy. So and now students also have hope that after school, whether long-term gap or short-term gap measures, there are measures in place to integrate them into the job and employment sectors. This is what we need. This is where the argument must be, not about numbers. If you have 800 incompetent numbers and somebody can provide 2,000 competent numbers, hooray!
Right.
John, I'm grateful. So, Fred, that's the argument. It's not a matter of the numbers, it's just about delivery, deliverables.
I am sure my brother John has been living in Afghanistan for the past 1 year.
Oh, he's the CEO of
the description is given is not anything related to Ghana. I'm sure my brother now is confined to his office. He doesn't know. In fact, he's not in touch with the reality.
Okay, so he's no more in Afghanistan.
He doesn't know what is happening in this country.
Yeah, maybe,
you know, he doesn't know. He doesn't move around. Maybe it's in Afghanistan somewhere. He doesn't know what is happening in this country. And so you can come and sit on national television this morning and speak this way. Speak down on the people of this country and think that the people of this country.
No, Fred, he's not speaking. He's only telling us what.
Up until you corrected him He sat here and said they've posted all the nurses.
I said we have posted
Can
from
you allow me?
2012.
He sat here. He
most
sat
of them have
here.
been
Can you
posted.
allow me, Bright? He sat here and said they have fixed Dumso, and I thought we were going to ask him to point to 1 megawatt of electricity they added to our electricity stock.
But it has never been about megawatts.
Fred, but you know the argument was the argument
It was always
that
about
it was
money
an issue of finance
and incompetent
that's their
management.
claim
So
that-
which monies have they paid? Point to it. Which money?
We've paid all the
Lord,
necessary
in
debts.
2015, President Mahama said in the State of the Nation address that by 2017, Ghana will become a net exporter of electricity. Based on the measures he has put in place, when he was building the car power, he was doing the solar system, and all they criminalized and called him names. They should point to one thing that they did. Before they came into office in 2017, there was no doomsday in this country, and that is evident, that's the truth. Point to one thing that you've done in the energy sector that you can come into on national television this morning and boast of. You call NDC incompetent? A 419 government that will tell Ghanaians I'm reducing electricity by 30%. Whilst in reality they are not doing that.
You
call this no, please.
Fred, you have evidence to prove that the 30% isn't really
right. You pay electricity.
figure.
Are you suggesting to me?
Well,
Did you?
No,
you
30 is
I've
for
gotten-
the industries, I think so, non-residential.
So fine, but your company is an industry. Call your management staff and ask them.
But
if
you have the
reduced,
evidence.
it was not reduced even up to 15%. It was not even up to 50%. Find out. But they will come out there and do propaganda. That today you are telling us is no longer about the numbers. So when Anado stood at Osu Presby, Bethesda Presby Church, and said that the size of government under Professor Mills was too large, and that we should do something about it. What was he saying at the time?
And John
I've
said that
explained.
it
What
was
was
a
he
matter
saying?
of deliverables.
Exactly.
He thinks that you will not
But
deliver.
with the incompetence, we set up an institution that even he, John, today is working in.
Oh, did you set up NEP?
Now, please.
Do you know
we set
anything
up,
about
yes.
NEP?
We set up, yes. That is why you're working with our incompetence, so-called incompetence.
But you met
Point
NHIS,
to
youth
one
employment.
institution that you have
John, please
created.
allow
Point to one institution that you have created since you came into office.
Plenty.
The employment you create, you are giving out to the people today. You sack one NDC person, you bring MPP. Even the MP people they are bringing, the big men's family members and children and friends. The real food who work for the party to gain power, they're in the house, they can't even get food to eat. You are sharing everything among yourselves at the top. And you come and sit here and tell us you are competent. Point to one thing that you have done since you came into office for more than 1 year. Tell us one thing.
Fred, he
You
said that they are
coming.
delivering. He
That they've
mentioned the one
reinstated-
district, one factory.
He claimed that one district, where is the factory? One district, where is the point to one factory? The last time I checked, Otuam, the place has turned into a forest. Where else? He said they've reinstated teacher training college and allowances. Find out what is happening in our schools. For more than 4 months, they've not paid any money to them. Just 3 days ago, I received a text mail from one of my friends in the training colleges that the parents are not even sending him money again because they thought that they are paying them allowances. And so if I could get something for him to manage. Announcing policy means that we are implementing the policy. Just this morning as I was working here, I heard the NAGRAT, I think the financial control NAGRAT office, claiming that the money is not even, a government is not even subvention for the management of free SHS. In any case, was that a promise you made to the people of this country? Last year, how much money did you release to for the management of the free SHS? And so if you are just announcing policies, you are not putting anything in place, and you want us to glorify you and think that you are doing something, you are deceiving yourself.
But Fred,
Ghanaians today, if you go on the streets, they are so much disappointed. Ghanaians would have wished that tomorrow is 2020.
the development authorities, aren't they taking shape?
Taking shape, where are the offices?
Chief executives, deputies have been mentioned. and
One
they're supposed to
authority, one chief executive, about 4 deputies. We don't even know where they are. Go and check their budget. What are they doing? What have they done? Bright, point to one thing. Just one, I'm not asking for 2. That this MPP administration have been able to put in place since they came into office, apart from announcing
The
policies.
Free Senior High School.
So what is happening to
told you
it?
about Free Senior.
What is happening to it? What is happening in the Free Senior High School? Go and ask several parents. They've posted their children out of their communities. They have to go and rent a room for them. They are paying water bill. They are paying electricity bill. In some cases, they have to even get them their lorry fares. They are paying more than they would have paid under what we did. And so I don't know which country you live in. I don't know what it is that you think your government is achieving. John, if you live here, go onto the street, go to Abosokai. Talk to the spare parts dealers over there. Today, when you get to the port, they can't even clear their goods. Talk to Ghanaians who live abroad. When they bring their vehicle, they can't clear their vehicle from the port. Go to Malata market. Go to Agbogbloshi market. Go and talk to the market women. Filth is swallowing them up. People are not even coming to the market to come and buy. That is the country we are living in. You can't even manage filth. You can't do anything. You are only talking and talking and talking and making promises. There is nothing on the ground for us to see. And so you can continue to live in your office and continue to convince yourself that your government is doing so well. You claim you are competent, and so you can appoint whatever. Armed robbers will give you a reason why they are into armed robbery. Prostitutes can give you all the goods why they are into prostitution. For the first time in the history of this country and anywhere in the world, your government that claim or your president that claim that is coming to manage our purse, manage our resources, has appointed 110 ministers. Each one of them for V8, each one of them for a private saloon car, a houseboy, a house girl, allowance, free fuel, free telephone call, everything.
Again, it's about
some
delivery.
of them. What are they delivering? What are they delivering, Bright? Point to what they are delivering. Point to what they are delivering. Go to Ministry of Education. We have 2 sector ministers and a deputy. And we don't know who is doing what. Go to the area of the security, Minister of National Security, Security Coordinator, this, that. Meanwhile, every day, I'm robbing our country. Every blessed day, I'm robbery. Even in visible force, you can't manage it. And you tell me you are delivering? You are now this has become the measuring rod. Anytime we talk about your super incompetence, so even NDC did this. Ghanaians didn't vote for you to come and continue for the sake of the argument, anything the NDC did. You probably are coming to give us something better.
Let's wrap up on this.
And we are getting the worst form of governance this country has ever witnessed in our 61 years.
The Deputy Communications Director of the NDC. Now let's jump into this one. The election of Metro, Municipal and District Chief Executives is scheduled to take place in mid-2021 to deepen the country's decentralization process. The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Hajia Alima Mahama, who disclosed this, said President Akufo-Addo is committed to fulfilling his promise of making the election of the MMDC's partisan. The minister was speaking at the roundtable discussion, which was organized by the Center for Local Governance and Advocacy and Interministerial Coordinating Committee on how to operate a decentralized governance system with the election of MMDCs. That's a big one there. John, is the president really committed to this?
Oh yes, that I'm very, very sure.
He seems to be moving the years on and on.
No,
now it's out of his first 4-year mandate.
Yes, it is very important to do a lot of stakeholder engagement when it comes to the issue of district assembly elections, and even how the processes have to be, managed. The nature of the elections, how is it going to be? I'm very happy His Excellency the President invited leaders of other political parties to the Jubilee House for further consultations. And obviously we couldn't have rushed with the process because it appears, whilst it's a very laudable idea, the significant roles that the district assemblies play makes it very crucial when you want to play it on elections level. So it is very, all the DCs and MMDCs are head of DISEC and MISEC and head of security in the regions and the districts. So you have to be very cautious in making sure that the people you put there will not, or the processes you are putting in place to select whoever must head it. You don't leave it to people who destabilize the security of the various districts and municipal. So I'm sure that we have to do a lot of more engagements with all stakeholders. And I'm sure, per the laws, the Local Government Act,
right.
The district assemblies are supposed to be non-partisan. So going forward, that we are seeking to making it elections, what nature must it take? Is this still going to be political parties getting involved or still non-partisan processes? So a lot of discussions have to go into it. And we need the input of all the stakeholders, especially the major players, the NDC and all the other PPP, the other political parties that we have. And of course, those who are the local government experts in the country will also have to advise. Some are for, some are against. You need to weigh the concerns from even those who think it's not a positive decision. How do you incorporate all those concerns into the final decisions that you come or you arrive at? So these are the major issues why government have to take their time. I'm very happy, at least as we speak today, the Ministry of Local Government have announced that beginning 2021, we are likely to see the first election of the MMDCs in this country. I think it's good. It's something that eventually as a country we have to get to, because come to think of it, all the funding for the district assemblies or for the development of the municipal and districts go to the MCE, but that person is not elected. And the MP who gets elected, who is supposed to be the lawmaker, has to be blamed for every development gap that happens in the district. But if you allow people to select their own MMDCs, then much more obligations will be placed on whoever is the MCE or DCE to respond immediately, timely, and you know, positively to the concerns of the locals. I have dealt with some MDCs before who will say that their obligation is to the president and not to the people.
Not to the people.
Yes, because clearly, and it makes sense because it was the president who appointed them. Even though he appointed them to serve the people, their first obligation is to the president. But we want to have a reverse of the situation where whoever is there as MC or DCE believes that he's there on behalf of the people. You respond to their development needs. Otherwise, the next election, you are voted out. So you cannot have the purse and somebody else is blamed for your lack of performance. So it makes a lot of sense in terms of development. Some roads are there, and a DCE could just go and plow the road and make it motorable for the people. He sits there, he doesn't care. Meanwhile, he has the purse. And all the blame will be put on the MP. So if we want to see faster growth and development, if we want to see the essence of this district assembly common fund that's always going to the districts and not really seeing much accountability, I think that these elections will help. But like I've said, people have raised concerns. Let's look and hear what they have to say and how we can incorporate all these concerns to make sure that eventually the nature of elections that we adopt becomes acceptable to all the stakeholders, so that we can live with that and move on and experiment that process and see how it helps the people.
Fred,
right.
The processes leading to the eventual election is what is delaying the process.
Well, Brad, just give me a second. John, you can remind the president, when I'm sure he's back in the country, that according to the spokesperson of private clinics, they said in 2016, we are still owing them 4 months. 2017, we are owing them 7 months. 2018, we are owing them 3 months. Then teaching hospitals, 2016, we are owing them 2 months. 2017, 9 months. 2018, 3 months. This is the arrears, the money that we have not paid to National Health Insurance Service providers.
Okay,
so if the president goes to tell us that there is $1 million, the people are saying that they've not received the money.
Fred,
so you should get the money. Let me come back to
Fred, yesterday I heard the deputy chief executive of the scheme told the media that all these persons who have not been paid perhaps might be as a result of issues with their
so that this government,
if they have,
when this government tells you to look up, look down.
You remember when we said we have paid the teachers arrears and they declared strike?
When they tell you that look up, you just look down.
Fred,
okay.
You see, this
Fred,
no, I'm coming.
You remember the teachers?
Let me finish
after the ministry announced that we have paid them and we've released funds, they said we have declared strike.
You know
what happened to their strike? Eventually, what happened?
You know what happened?
So what happened? What happened? Now they've got the money.
Okay, no, it's not.
Okay,
why have they got the money? Why have they called off the strike?
I'll tell you why they called off the strike. But let me come back to this issue. You see, I have a difficulty accepting this that is being said by the sector minister, that they are going to implement this election of MNDCs in 2021. Because if you remember, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo himself told us that in 2018, we are going to have these elections. The Deputy Minister of Local Government, Honorable Obi Amwa, he said 2019. Now, the sector minister is telling us 2021. So which of the dates should we believe?
Well, they have explained why the dates keep.
So at the time the president was giving that date, he didn't know. He was not briefed. Or he just said it as one of those promises. At the time Honorable Obiamwa was also giving his date, he didn't receive any briefing. He didn't know all the problems that they are raising today. I pray and hope that 2021 will come and all of us will see the election of MMDCs. People have raised the pros and cons, why we should elect MMDCs, and others think that we should still continue with the appointment that we have as of now. I think that's only fair and proper that we weigh both sides of the argument and see which will be appropriate, which will benefit this country. I may have my personal view, and I think that I share in some of the concerns that John raised, that if you check our development agenda in this country, MPs really don't do development. I don't know why we have even created that thing we call MPs Common Fund, which can barely do any development. And so based on that, they go to communities, they ask them, come and fix our road for us, come and build a school for us, come and build a hospital for us. Apart from going to lobby, where are they supposed to have money to be able to do it? The Common Fund goes direct to that assembly. And you know the institutions that we have. If you go to an area where the MP and the DC or MC are not coming from the same political party, it becomes difficult for them to come together and work for the development of the area. In some cases, because the DC or the MC is even eyeing the parliamentary seat, he tries to, more or less sabotage the MP, even to release his own development fund for him to do whatever he wants to do becomes a problem. And so, if all of us think that in order that the MDCs, the DCs and the MSCs be accountable to the people, they also need to go through election process. And we think that will benefit us as the people. Why not? You can go ahead and do it. And I'm sure the technical committee that have been set up and the team are looking at all the issues. So at the end of the day, it doesn't create any problems for us. I think that one of the major concerns they've raised in the past has to do with the issue of security and ability to trust the DC. Because the DC, more or less, is the representative of the president in the district or in the municipal area. Now, assuming that they vote for the MC on the partisan lines, and the man who becomes the MC is not from the president's political divide, would they be able to cooperate and work? He is supposed to be in charge of the security at that level. So anytime the president is going to that district, he presides over the security. Can we be sure that he will provide the security that will benefit the entire system? These are all the issues that have been raised. But like I said, the technical people should look at it. We should do broad consultation and see what's the in the interest of this country and get it implemented. My only difficulty is that I am not too sure if by 2021, as we are being told, they will do it again. But the good thing is that by 2021, NDC will be in power. And so once we promise we will deliver on that, I'm sure we'll do it. What they're telling us technically is that MPP is not going to implement this election of MNDCs during their term of office. Nanado is not going to do it. That is what they are saying in a very subtle manner. But that's the information they are putting out. Because by 2021, Nanado would have ceased to be the president of Ghana. He wouldn't have been in office again. So how is he going to implement this particular policy? Okay. So you are reneged. You are failed. You are unable to deliver on that promise. Just say it and apologize to Ghana. Then we move on and stop this gymnastics here and there.
I can see John smiling.
No, but he has to smile because he knows that I've got it. But that's what they are trying to do. If you cannot deliver, then just tell Ghanaians that you cannot deliver. Right. You said 2018, you moved to 2019, 2020, now 2021. It is true you cannot deliver. Okay. Just say that we cannot deliver and start shifting the post. Do you have a mandate to deliver?
Same usual incompetent.
Do you have a mandate in 2021? They won't take their
time to do the proper engagement.
So when you are making the promises, what did you do?
What we are doing is part of the pledges. You don't rush to do things without the proper engagement. The President of the Republic of Ghana.
Okay.
That's a specific day.
Gentlemen, I'm grateful.
And now you are shifting away.
For your Tuesday morning with me here.
You are shifting away.
John Kuma is the Chief Executive of the National Entrepreneurship Innovation Program. He's a member of the NPP. Fred Agbenyo is Deputy Communications Director of the NDC. Grateful for your time. You sent in comment. We'll read them. Stay with us. Sports is up next.